Hi everybody, quick disclaimer before I get into the video. I am in my driveway. There's a very noisy bird. You can still hear it when I'm in my bedroom. I can't get rid of it. I'm sorry. I'm going to try and speak up over it though so that you don't hear it. You can mostly hear me. But okay, so let's get into it. Have you ever wanted to know a second language? Maybe you were traveling abroad and you thought to yourself, man, I really should have paid more attention in Spanish class. Or maybe you bought yourself a book like this from off the internet and tried to teach yourself, but you didn't have the time or you didn't have anybody to speak to in that language, so it just kind of never worked out. Well, that's what I want to teach. That's what I want to talk to you guys about today. I want to talk to you about why America should institute a national foreign language policy, or a national foreign language requirement in schools. I'm currently fluent in 2 languages. I'm working on my 3rd, which is French, and I have a little bit of knowledge in 3 other languages as well. I wouldn't say that I'm fluent, but I know enough. And I lived in Germany for a year, and I got to see how they teach foreign language over there, and it's so much more efficient than what we do over here, and I would love to institute something similar here. So I want to talk to you guys today about why we should do foreign language requirement from kindergarten all the way up to your 12th grade graduation, and I'm going to tell you guys about the benefit to your mind as a child, how it would benefit you as an adult, and how we can practically apply this idea in the United States. So for starters, it helps your mind when you're a child. According to a study from the Florida Atlantic University, bilingual infants tend to develop their speaking abilities at a much slower pace than their monolingual counterparts. However, later in life, these same bilingual students showed better cognitive ability, they did better in all school subjects, and they also had better standardized testing scores. According to another article from the U.S. National Library of Medicine, growing up bilingual creates more neural pathways and thus enhances your problem-solving ability. The more neural pathways you have, the more different ways your brain has to solve the same problem, then the easier it is for you to problem solve. It can help you be more creative, it can help you be more analytical, it helps you with your problem solving abilities, which is probably why these children had higher standardized testing scores when they knew multiple languages. So now to continue on for the benefits for adults, it's proven that when you know more than one language, it's way easier to learn another. Because those neurological pathways are already built in how you learned in the first place. And then also, so say you grew up in Italy, where they're required to learn 2 foreign languages throughout school. Let's say you learn you learn Spanish and English. Then you would have an easy pathway into learning French, because Spanish and Italian are very similar to French. They came from the same root language. Conversely, you could also learn German, because English is a Germanic language, so you can learn these other languages much quicker. And the more languages you know, that can actually translate into a higher pay at work. So, and it also can do, going back to the traveling thing, and ease of travel, because the amount of polyglots in the world, aka people who speak multiple languages, far outweigh the number of people who only speak one. And if you travel somewhere and you can speak 3 languages, someone somewhere, statistically, is going to be able to speak one of the languages you do. And so that just makes that so much easier. And then to go back to the whole neurological benefits, the average age of developing dementia for people who only speak one language is 71.5 years old. However, if you speak multiple languages, the average age for memory loss and dementia to set in is 75.6 years old. So you get 4 more years and a couple months before dementia and memory loss even begin to set in, according to Psychology Today. So now that you know the benefits for kids and for adults of learning multiple languages all throughout school, then I want to talk to you guys about how we can practically apply this idea. So as of right now, this is anything in light green has less than 20% of that state's students learning a foreign language. So almost nobody in the United States is learning a foreign language. And these foreign language requirements are only for 2 years in high school. One of the lowest rates is actually New Mexico at 9% of its students. New Mexico, they're only learning English. Doesn't make sense. So think that we should take a page out of Europe's book in this one aspect. So this is a map of Europe, and this is everything in green is the countries that require 2 foreign languages to be learned through school. Everyone in yellow is ones that require 1, and these 2 little gray countries don't require anything. So way more countries in Europe are actually requiring foreign language, but not only that, they're requiring it for more years, which is why it's so much more effective. If you go to Europe, I remember one time I was in Belgium, and the cashier spoke German, English, French, and Spanish. My mind was blown. It was incredible. And it was because she had learned it all throughout school. So the US not having an official language does make things a little bit tricky, but there's plenty of ways around that. So individual counties or states could choose what second language they want to endorse. So say Arizona, it'd make a lot of sense for them to teach Spanish. If you live up in the Northeast somewhere near Montreal and Canada, then it would make more sense for you to learn French. That does create a little bit of a problem where families are moving around, so they wouldn't be getting a consistent language. So another option to get around the whole no official language is every public school in the United States requires you to take an English class. Why can't they require Spanish too? I mean, if they're going to require you to take English and that's not our official language, why can't they require you to take other languages? Or the third option is you could have 3 different options or 2 different options given at every public school in the United States. Say German, French, Spanish, you can pick one of these and you can have that offered at every single school in the United States. And you can let individual families pick whether they want their kid to learn French for their entire academic career or if they want them to learn Spanish for their entire academic career. It just makes a lot of sense. So hopefully today you guys learned why it's important for America to instate a foreign language requirement in schools. You also learned how a foreign language is beneficial to you and your brain. And overall, in today's increasingly borderless world, Americans need to be able to speak more than just English. Thank you.